Hey there everybody, Phil's Front here today doing a short little update on the Murray off-road mower. So as you can see, there's been a few obvious changes and a few not so obvious changes. First of which is the wire mesh that I added in the leg hold areas. I already had the metal bars coming down, but I added wire mesh because I feel like these things do really good at holding your foot in place. It also helps a lot with keeping brush and sticks from hitting the side of you and your legs when you're going through the woods as well. The next really obvious change to the tractor has been these new Carlisle Trail Wolves. These are 20-inch tall, 7-inch wide, 8-inch rim. I put brand new inner tubes inside of them so I could run super low air pressures without worrying about de-beating my tire. So far these tires have been really great. I've liked them. I wish the tread was a little deeper. As you can see, it's not a very thick tread, which was kind of disappointing when I purchased these. I got them about $110 brand new, shipped to my house. But so far they've actually performed rather well. I've yet to test them in really deep mud, but I'll be doing that real soon. Looking up above here, we've got the addition of these new handles. These are basically oh shit bars. When you start feeling like you're gonna flip over, you grab a hold of these suckers so you don't flip over. Very handy. I've got one over here and one on the other side as well, and they're positioned pretty much right where I would want them, reaching down. They don't get in the way of anything else, so yeah, very good modification to have on there. Cheap, easy to do. Underneath the seat here, you might have noticed that I changed my spring setup. The springs used to rest underneath some square steel that came out a little ways, but that ride was actually too stiff because the leverage was, there wasn't enough leverage on the springs. So what I ended up doing was created a different spring system where I bolted the springs to the bottom of my seat mount bolts and installed a second plate underneath that'll actually also help keep mud and trash and grass and crap from going into my trunk. That flips up there. The springs will rest on the plate. If you want to, you can remove the plate very easily. It's just a hitch pin there and the whole pin just slides out. You can see the addition of the brake handle here. I mounted it to my shifter. I modified a T-handle shifter and put a bicycle brake handle on and ran bicycle conduit down underneath the tractor to the brake mechanism. So now the brakes are hand operated. This works pretty well and would probably work for you if you're not really aggressively pulley swapped. It's not a really good high-speed brake, but it's a good low-speed brake or for descending hills and things of that nature. Up here I've still got the original push-button electric start system. I've upgraded my push button to a rubber-coated one just for the fact that this thing is always getting wet. This is still pretty susceptible to moisture, so I might change this one out eventually. But the ignition start switch is at least waterproofed, so that's nice. Here on the front end, a lot of you know about the LED headlights. I installed those a little while back. They're pretty bright. I've yet to go on a night romp though. I think I'm going to do that soon because I really think that would be cool to try out. A lot of you might not have noticed is these punk spikes that actually replace the hood bolts where this hood mounts to itself. You get these little spikes right on eBay, and I just put them in these front areas. They're just kind of a nice little touch that you see when you're looking at the details of the tractor in person. You don't really see it on the video. There's the addition of the pull start. This was a little custom modification I came up with. This is just an idler pulley for a lawnmower. A lot of times older tractors will come with this already installed, but newer tractors don't. So I decided to save myself a bunch of money and just kind of come up with something like this for in case the battery dies or the starting system doesn't work or whatever. But you basically take a pull rope, wrap it around there, pull start the motor. Works really well. Moving down here, you can see the addition of my exhaust. It comes out like a header pipe. It is header wrapped for the first 6 inches just to keep the heat down for the float. I don't want to vaporize my fuel or start the carburetor to boil fuel, so that wouldn't be good. This is a 1-inch tube. It runs approximately 2 feet down until it reaches inside a resonation chamber, which is basically a 2 or 2¼ inch tube. I can't really remember. But it's a modular piece. You can actually remove this piece from this piece independently, meaning this piece actually bolts to the chassis, this piece is bolted to the motor. And you can remove either one of these without removing the other. So it's really, really handy and makes it really nice to work on. In fact, here's one of the mounting bolts up here by the foothold. You can see it just goes down, goes into that resonation chamber. And here in the back where the exhaust exits, you can actually see the other one, right where the tip of my finger is. That is the other bolt. And there is the exit of the exhaust. And this thing sounds absolutely awesome. It gives it that kind of four-wheeler sound where it's like a pop, 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 pop. I really like it. I have no plans to change it. People worry about it going underwater, but I've had this thing underwater plenty of times and it has not been a problem. There, this might be a better look at the exhaust. I've got it tipped up on one side here, but you can see the exhaust 1-inch pipe down to the 2-inch pipe and right out the back. Just a straight shot. And that rear pipe is probably 2.5 feet long, I would guess, maybe 3 feet. But yeah, there's plenty of back pressure there to keep the engine running. I haven't had a problem. I've been running this setup for a couple months now and it's been awesome. You may also notice while you're under here the addition of my skid plate, and this keeps my belt system dry. I've got the lower skid plate there, and I've got a side skid plate there. That's mostly just to keep crap out of my belt system. I've also got one on the other side, which you cannot see right now, but it is there. I'll set her down. But yeah, that's pretty much the big changes to this thing. Other than that, everything's remained relatively the same. I haven't needed to change much because, well, it just works perfect the way it is. I know a lot of people want me to lift it or put 4-wheel drive under it or do all these other crazy things, but the truth of it is, I really like it the way it is. It's really well balanced, especially for me as a rider, and I have no plans of changing it. So thanks for watching the video, you guys, and I will see you on the next romp.